Hello everyone, this is Sue from Sue's Paper Creations. My name is Sue Phillip and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada. Today I am very excited to share with you different techniques that you can do with this amazing product that we have got in our Occasions catalog, and it is the BRUSHO Crystal Color. So I want to go through a couple different techniques that you can use with pressing with folders, resists, as well as just making beautiful backgrounds and painting as well. So the BRUSHO Crystal Color is a pigment color, and it's a very intense pigment. So when you open up your box, there is 5 different colors inside. So we have got a brilliant red, we've got a Persian blue, a moss green, a gamboge, which is an orange, and we have got yellow. So we're going to use all those different colors today, and all the products that we're going to be using you will find on my online store, which you can find through my website. So this is suephillip.stampinup.net, and on there I also have all of my current classes listed. So if you happen to be in the local area of Victoria, British Columbia, and you're wanting to know about classes that I run, like the one, some of the cards I'm going to show you today, a technique class, just send me a message and let me know. If you're looking for online shopping, then you just push the shop now and you will have access to my online store. If you happen to use the current host code for February, I will send you a free little product in the mail, a little custom card kits that I make up. Now, also remember, during celebration time, we have got all sorts of items that you can pick for free with a $60 item, including some new ones that are going to be coming out, and I'll give you a little sneak peek on those at the end. But there's lots of items that you can get for free right now during celebration, and you also get it on my In It to Win It board, which I usually draw. It ends up filling up about every month and a half, I bet, and I'm always giving away good stuff, like I've got a big shot or a full set of Stampin' Right markers. So you can get in on that as well. So that is the current host code for orders under $200. If it's over $200, remember, I want you to be able to get those free items, your hostess gifts, but I will still send you a little thank you gift in the mail, and you'll still get on my In It to Win It board. Okay, so let's get on with BRUSHO, because I just finished doing 3 technique classes on this last week, and I just fall in love with it more and more each time I use it. This is an amazing product, and it is so fun to use, and you get this intense color that you just don't get with inks alone. So when you get your little box of these guys, which are in the Occasions catalog, it's $40 Canadian, and you get all 5 of these colors. I mean, this little box of color will probably last you a lifetime. You won't need to get another box. There's a lot in here, and when you get them, I just want to share a couple tips. One is, you do not want to crack open the lid. This pigment is so fine that you would end up with this little cloud, and you would end up with blue all over the place. So what I recommend is just taking a little piercing tool or whatever you've got and just poking some holes in the top. So you're turning it almost into like a little salt and pepper shaker, and that's what you want to do. You can control the color when you put it down, the pigment when you put it down, and you're not going to end up with a huge mess and have a hard time handling it. So I'm going to take mine out of the little box. I store them in here when I'm not using them. What I have seen some people do is they actually put kind of one larger hole in the center instead of 2 little ones, and they use one of those little push pins, and then they keep the push pin in there, and it acts as a little stopper. So that's a great tip too, if you would rather do it that way. But either way, don't crack open the whole lid. It's better just to turn it into a little shaker. Okay, so with these pigments of color, there's a couple different ways you can use the BRUSHO. Water is always involved, because that is what's going to activate the pigment. So I use my aqua painter as well as our Stampin' Spritzers, and you get 2 of these in a package, and you get 2 of these brushes in a package. And I mean, they're great to use for all different types of techniques. But when you're using the BRUSHO, you have two different ways of activating it. You can either put water down on your paper first and then add the BRUSHO, or if you want, you can add the BRUSHO powder and then activate it by adding water on top. Now, you're going to get different control with each way you do it. And I'm going to show you this. The one thing that I can say is you're not going to have full control all the time unless you're just coloring with it, okay? Because you can't control the way that water is sprayed, you know, you have to let go. I know it's hard for some of you, but you just have to let go of the control and just realize that no matter how it comes out, you are going to end up with a gorgeous finish, okay? So I don't want you to worry about that, but as you can see, you can't control where the color is going to end up exactly, okay? So I just want to jump in and show you. All right, so for using the BRUSHO, what I recommend, depending on which techniques you're doing, if you're going to be spraying a lot, I recommend that you actually bring in some sort of box, which you can line with some paper. I've just actually got a box here from our catalogs. And the reason why I do this is because when I put down the BRUSHO, it's very, very fine. And when I spritz it with the water, it can cause the powder to just kind of move a little bit. And you don't realize it because it's so fine, but it can get on your work surface. And then you can end up with colors that you don't want on different cards. So I like to contain it in a little box, okay? So I'm going to start by just showing you what happens when I place down my BRUSHO first. So I'm going to use a little bit of moss green, and I'm going to use some Persian blue, and I'm going to just tap it. So you want to, when you're using it, you don't want to shake it kind of like a salt and pepper shaker. You want to actually turn it upside down and give it a little tap, okay? And you can you see that? See the little pigment that is going down? Now, the very cool thing with this BRUSHO is the BRUSHO pigment powder is actually made up of a whole bunch of different crystals of color. So this means that when you're putting it down, there's a couple, see how they kind of, it kind of bounces around in the box. Do you see that? That's why I like to do it within the box, okay? When you go to spray it, you're going to see kind of different colors. It's not just going to be plain green, and it's not going to be plain blue. You're going to see a lot of different colors within the greens and the blues. And the green that we've got is actually a moss green, so it has a lot of brown undertones. I'm going to just go for it, and you guys can see. So you can see when I spray it, see how it's activating like that? I'm going to bring it up closer so you guys can see it a little bit better. But see how it activates that BRUSHO pigment. And the more water you spray, the more it's going to blend together, and it's going to spread. And you can add as little or as much as you want to create the effect that you want, okay? So I have gone and I've sprayed just a little bit like that. If I were to use this for a background, what I might want to do is I might want to spread it out a little bit. I don't want to play with that. That looks amazing. But I might want to just kind of spread it out maybe a little bit here. If I were to be stamping on a full background, you could go in and you could spray it a little bit. And then you could always brush it over like this. You could do it in just different areas. You don't have to do the whole area. But you remember, you don't want to blend the colors too much. I actually quite like the center of that. So I think I would leave the center, but I would brush out the top. And that is going to be an amazing background for, you know, I'll show you actually one that was similar, like this. See how that one is the same? I left a little bit of white around the edges just because I kind of like that, and a little bit of white in the center. But see how it's got all these little crystal pigments, and you almost have like a little eggplant in there, and all the different colors of crystals that are activated. Isn't that cool? So that is the sheltering tree that I've stamped over top in garden green and espresso. So that's how I kind of finished off, would finish off this one. Okay, so that is just tapping and spraying. And it's fun because you don't know what you're going to end up with, because every single time it's different, but every single time it's gorgeous. And I just love it. Okay? So that is one thing you can do with the BRUSHO. Now, if you wanted a little bit more control over where your colors are going to go, what I would recommend that you do is you would actually spray your paper first. So if you spray it first, you're going to have a little bit more control over where the color pigments are going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just spraying with my Stampin' Mister there. And when I go to tap it, then I can actually see where the color is. So see how I can kind of control where I want that green to go? And then I can maybe start over here. Oh my gosh, look at that go. Isn't that amazing? I told you this stuff is awesome. It is addictive. Like, you just want to just keep creating more and more backgrounds with it. So see how I had a little bit more control where the blue is, where the green is, because I could actually physically see when I tapped it. I could see it activate and go. Now, if I wanted to, I could leave it like this, or you can always go in and you can spritz it a little bit more if you want to blend the colors a little bit. As this dries, the paper's going to flatten back out. I'll show you in some of the other ones that I've done. But if you wanted, you could go in and you could spray. See how I'm spraying here a little bit more, and it's making it just blend just a little bit more. You could also go in if you wanted less of kind of a pattern and you want it more neutral. You could go in then with your aqua painter and blend out some of these areas if you want. The nice thing is if you let it sit for a little bit, you're still going to end up with some of the cool, like, little pigment spots in there, which I like to keep some of that. Okay, so again, it's so amazing. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So when you've finished just a cool background like that, you can stamp something on it, or you could just leave it plain. Like, here is one that I have just used a sprayed background. And again, for this one, I just put the powder down and then I spritzed after. I used the yellow and the blue, and I just spritzed it after, and I didn't worry about too much about the control. Okay, and then I just put a simple happy birthday, and then I might want to go in with some of our little oh, sorry, I bumped my camera. Sorry, guys. I might want to go in with some of these little Tutti Frutti. These are self-adhesive sequins, and I might want to just pop in just a couple of these just to kind of add a little something to the card, just like that. And I mean, that's all you need. That is just one very cool birthday card, just with a background like that. Okay, so that is just plain BRUSHO, just tapped on, just spritzed, and you can see how these ones are now starting to dry. I don't know if you noticed or not, but this paper actually has quite a bit of shimmer in it. I love using the shimmer white paper because it allows the colors just to flow a little bit easier than it does on the plain watercolor paper, and it takes a lot of water. So it really stands up to water really well in water techniques. So I would recommend the shimmer white to get these sort of results. And look at the intense color on there. Okay, so that's drying very nicely. We'll check in on the other ones later. I want to move on to the next thing that you can do with the BRUSHO. So I went ahead and you guys can maybe see that. I already heat embossed. I used my Versamark, and then I sprinkled with some white embossing powder. I used my heat tool, and I did some butterflies with white embossing powder on the shimmer white paper. And then for this one, I did some flowers with silver embossing powder on this one. So I'm going to show you how to just watercolor with this one, and then we're going to do a resist with this one. Okay, so I'm going to bring in a little block. Now for watercoloring, it is so simple to do. All you need is your crystals, all you need is an aqua painter, and you just go for it. I'm going to adjust my camera so you guys can see this really well. And I'm going to do some bright colors on this one. I'm going to go in with some brilliant red, So all you have to do is just tap a little bit of that pigment on your block. Oh, now I want to get out, where's my cloth here? I've got quite a bit of blue still in here from our last creation, so I'm just going to run that. And it figures I am running out of water in my aqua painter. So let's see. Hoping I have enough to make this flower. I think I do. Yep, I do. So I went and I got rid of the blue in there, and now I'm just adding a little bit of water, and this becomes like a little paint palette for you. Okay, you can add as much BRUSHO crystal as you want to make the color more intense. And then you just go in and you just paint with it. And again, this is that intense color that you're not going to get with just using inks. And I'm going to show you what else you can do to it in a second. So I'm going to do this really quickly. You've got lots of variation in shade. So again, you can work your shade a little bit. If you want, you can do some petals, they're a little bit darker than others. You can also go in and do a little bit of more darkness around the center of your flower. Okay. You can also mix up your colors a little bit. So for this one, I'm going to pretend this is all done here. But if you wanted, then you can go in with your BRUSHO and you can tap a little bit. I'm tapping a little bit of the gamboge, which is the orange in the center. And I'm going to take my aqua painter and I'm going to activate it on the paper, but just by adding the water in my aqua brush. And I'm going to do a more orangey center of that flower. See how you can do that? So the nice thing is, as even this one's been sitting there a while, I can go in and I can still work on it. Now, if you wanted to, you could spritz these flowers as well. So I'm going to spritz them just a little bit. I don't want the water to pool as much that it goes over the embossed edges, but this one's been sitting here, and I want you to know that even after you finish with your card, if there's certain lines in it, say even in here, if there were certain lines that you wanted to blend more, all you have to do is spritz it and it reactivates all the color pigments in there. See how it reactivates that? And so if you wanted to, you could then go in and you can add a little bit more to just make the centers of those flowers a little bit more intense and bleed it in towards the rest of your flower. Okay, can you see that? I'm kind of off camera on you on there. Sorry about that. But you can blend it in and bleed it out into the area. So this is one that's been sitting there, and I can reactivate the color and the crystals in that BRUSHO. And you can see how it gives a very cool center to it. Okay, so that is what you can do with the painting. So if I were to finish off this card, I would bring in, let's see here, I'd bring in maybe a nice orange background, like so. I would do a little bit of green here maybe, like that. And then what I would do is I would bring in a little saying with that same kind of lemon lime green and stick it there. Okay, so that is a beautiful watercolor card, and it has that intense color with the BRUSHO crystals. Okay, so that is another thing you can do with it. Now, you saw that I've got a different color green here, and we don't have that green in the BRUSHO. So what you want to do is you can blend your colors to make, it's like being back in elementary school when you learn that, you know, yellow and blue makes green and red and blue makes purple. You can do all those things with the BRUSHO. So you can combine, I just want to get out my colors on here. Let's see here, let's clear it out. But you can combine those to make whatever colors you want. And then you have kind of different shades of greens and blues, and you can go in and you can do all your petals and stuff, all the different colors that you need. Okay, so that's the fun thing, is it gives you the basic colors, and then you can go from there and you can create. All right, now I want to get on to a resist because I love the resist. I'm going to bring in that box again, and I'm going to flip over onto the other side, and I'm going to bring in my butterflies. Okay, so this here is butterflies. Now these butterflies are from an awesome set called Beautiful Day. And I swear this set is just made for the brush show because it has been amazing to work with all the different pigments around these butterflies and flowers. I love them. Okay, so for this one, I am going to show you yellow, or yellow and blue. And again, for this one, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go for it with the crystals, and we're going to see what we get after we spritz it. So this is a way of, you know, not having as much control over your color, but I love the result that you get because you never get the same result twice, but it is always beautiful. So I have tapped a little bit. Oh, that's not the color I wanted. I went and did green on there. So we're going to see what it turns out like, but I'm going to add some yellow in it as well. I mean, hey, we're experimenting. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with my sprayer, and we're going to spritz with the Stampin' Spritzer. And we're going to see what we get here. So as I spray, you can see, oh my God, this looks so good. You can see the beautiful butterflies coming to life the more you spray it. I think I'm going to leave it like that, okay? And I'm just going to wait a second and see how it starts to combine. I'm going to bring it up close because it is looking really good, okay? Now, what you can do is if you're finding that a couple areas are a little bit too intense color for you, you can go in and you can just tap them gently with a paper towel or some sort of cloth and see how that also it's taking off the blue that is on top of the white embossing powder. So it is making that resist come out because the ink doesn't actually cling on to the embossing powder. So that's how you're getting the resist out of it. Isn't that beautiful? Then I want to make sure that I don't use the same spot to tap off the water that's on this one, or else I'll end up with blue in my yellowy green down here. Oh, I actually love the green and the yellow together. That looks fantastic. So I'm just going to brush out or tap out the butterfly so the butterfly comes to life more. But I'm going to leave these edges because I love the look of those edges. Isn't that cool? So cool. All right, so that is tap, tap, tap with the BRUSHO, spritzing with the Stampin' Spritzer. And that is the result that you get. Beautiful. Okay. Now, one more thing I'm going to show you. Let me just grab my embossing folder because this is like the showstopper. Okay. I'm going to show you, get all my stuff together here, and I'm going to just bring out my camera a bit. I have got one of our dynamic impression folders. This is the layering leaves, and I'm going to show you how you can create beautiful impressions like this with the BRUSHO, okay? So to do that, I'm going to make this one super intense so that you guys can see the colors that you're going to get with it. All right, so I have got my just regular base here for my platform, the Big Shot platform. I have got my folder. See the Stampin' Up here? I have got that down onto the surface, okay? So that's what I've got onto the surface. Now I'm going to bring in my BRUSHO, and I want this to be like really bright and intense, like tropical. So I'm going to go with Brilliant Red, Yellow, and our Gamboge Orange. And you know what, to add the powder, I'm actually going to put it on here just because I don't want to get it all over the Big Shot. Okay, and I'll bring that in a second. But it is really easy. All you have to do, tap on your color, and I am tapping it. You guys are like, oh my God, she's putting it right on the embossing folder. And you know what? Yes, I am. I'm going for it. I'm going right on the embossing folder. And again, I'm not salt and pepper shaking it this way. I'm going right over top, giving it a little tap, tap, tap. It's like, sounds like a woodpecker in here, tapping on a tree. So I'm just tapping that on, and I think I have got enough. Okay, so I went with orange, red, yellow. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my spritzer, And I got to make sure I still have a piece of paper here left for you guys. I do. Beautiful. And I'm just going to start spritzing. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Oh, look at that. So I have got all my colors on there. And now I want this, you know, so that the color is pooling a little bit. Okay, you don't want it running a lot, but you do want it quite wet. Okay, then you guys picturing this already? It's going to look amazing. Now I'm going to put that in my my folder. Let's get my Big Shot back up here. Whoop, pick it up. I'm going to put it on the platform. Again, with these folders, you just need one of your plates. And I'm going to roll it through. Now, this is a little messy. I'm not going to lie. But it is so worth it. And the folder, all you have to do is run it on underwater and all of this comes off. In fact, I find that dealing with the BRUSHO, even when I get it on my hands, it washes off easier than it does when you hit your hand on one of our ink pads. It washes off really easy. Now, out of clothes, I can't tell you because I haven't got it on my clothes yet, but I can't see it coming out of clothes too easy. So make sure you're wearing clothes that you don't mind a little ink on. Okay, so we do have a bit of an inky mess. That's not a big deal. All you have to do is run it under the water. But look at that. Isn't that cool? All right, I'm just getting all the wet stuff out of the way for right now. There we go. Look at the intense color on those leaves. And I love all these areas where the water kind of pools and where you have these little specks of the BRUSHO crystals. See that up close? It just adds so much depth to it. That's so cool. All right. All right. So now that you've seen pressing with the BRUSHO, you have seen painting with the BRUSHO, a little resist. Look at how that's drying. Isn't that cool? And these ones are now nice and flat. So I want to show you. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? Huh. I can't say cool enough. Okay, so you want to see some finished products. This is what things would look like if they were all finished. We have got our tree and finished off with a little saying. So again, looks totally different depending on what look you're going for. Whether you brush it out a little bit as it's wet, you could create a little hill if you want, or whether you just leave it more natural. I'm kind of more the au naturel, but totally up to you. Okay, the pressed one here is it finished up with a little bit of ribbon. Got some crumb cake ribbon. We've got our copper leaves, a little copper thread in there, and just a fun little saying. Life is so much better with you in it. Isn't that cool? Love it. Okay, and I think here is one just finished just plain up like that. If I were to finish this one off, I think I would just mat it in. Let's see. A little bit of blue to really pop out those butterflies. Just like that. And add a little saying. Maybe a happy birthday. I might do it a little bit finer so that I don't take away from the butterflies, or you could just add a little bit of ribbon so that you could have a nice beautiful blank card. Okay, so those are 4 different techniques that you can do with BRUSHO. So like I said, BRUSHO you will find in our occasions catalog. You will find it on let's see here, I can find it in my book quickly for you guys. I know it's on the same page as the beautiful butterflies themselves. Oh, there it is right there. So it's kind of hidden, a hidden gem in the book, but it is on page 26. And there is that beautiful day stamp set. And there is the BRUSHO up top there. Okay, so $40. And again, I would recommend using the shimmer white, our shimmer white cardstock with it, just because it has a nice sheen to it. It dries nice and flat, and there's lots of play on the surface because it's got a nice shiny or slippery surface, but it's also got the bonus of some really nice shimmer in the paper. So your product, your finished products, they almost look like, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's It's hard to see in this light I've got in here right now, but you can start to see the shimmer in there after it dries. And it's a really nice finish to it. Okay? So hope you guys enjoyed that. Oh, I almost forgot. I was going to show you some of the new celebration items, wasn't I? That are coming up on February the 16th. Brand new items for celebration. So for $60, there's going to be new choices. And let me see if I've got them. Here we are. Okay, I'm going to show you quickly. You ready? We have got a brand new dynamic folder. Look at that. It is a basket weave. It is beautiful. It matches with this blooming basket. So this is the new, is actually a combo together. So you get this impression folder and you get the stamp set at the 120 mark. So that is going to be free for you guys starting February 16th. For 120, you get both of these items. It is a bundle and you get both of them for the 120 mark. Okay. Now, next thing I'll show you is, look at that. Oh, I just had to show you. Look at that basket all painted up. So pretty. Next is the beautiful papers. These are the springtime foil papers. And they are not just any type of paper. This is beautiful foil paper. There is actually a rose gold in these. So I am hoping that we are going to end up with some rose gold foil paper in our new yearly catalog coming out in June. Here's another leaf print, some stripes, and where's my polka dots? They're hiding in here because they're some of my favorite. There we are. There's the polka dots in the rose gold. You can see kind of the rose gold in there. Now, features of these papers, you can brayer them. They are just not pretty papers on their own. I mean, they are, but you could stick a brayer and some ink to that. That is Island Indigo on a foam brayer. Just brayer it over top. Or, check that out, use your Stampin' Blends or Stampin' Write markers, and you can actually color them. And they look beautiful, and you could cut these out for features, okay? So those are a couple of the free items. There's also another stamp set. I'll show you that another time, but those are two of the options for celebration starting February 16th. Your combo and your gorgeous papers. You're not going to want to miss these papers. They are stunning. And you get 12 sheets, 12 by 12, 12 of them, 3 of each of the 4 patterns, okay? So, yeah, coming up in the next few days, those will start. Any items that you saw in the catalog or that I have demonstrated for you today, especially the beautiful BRUSHO, you can buy those things on my online store. Again, please use the host code if your total is going to be under $200 before shipping and taxes, and I will stick you in my In It to Win It. You might win a full set of markers or a big shot, and I will also send you out a free little card kit, okay? If your order is up and above 200, don't use that host code. Get free stuff for yourself, okay? And I will also still mail you out a little card kit, and you will also get in It to Win It. Actually, 3 times, because for every $60 that you spend, your name goes on the board. So that will be 3 entries into the board, okay? Another thing about celebration, if you're local, you want to host a party, let me know. You're going to end up with extra stuff, free stuff during celebration if you have a qualifying party. And there's also the deal for signing up. So this is for anybody in Canada. You can sign up. You can just go to my website here, push the join now, and you can become part of my team. We have got a website where I share information. We're going to do some Zoom meetings, but not only that, you're going to get $165 for $135 without having to pay any shipping. Plus, for celebration, you get to pick 2 free stamp sets, any value. It can be, I think our highest priced ones in the book are in between $50 and $60. You can pick a couple of those out for free. So it is a steal for $135, the starter kit. If you want to be part of my team, just let me know and contact me if you need a little bit more information, or just go to my website here, press the join now, and I would love to have you join me. So have a fabulous rest of the weekend. I'm going to sign out for now, and I hope to see you guys soon. I was so glad to be able to demonstrate this brusho for you. I have no one in my house right now, so it's so nice, and I was able to do this video. So I hope to do another one for you guys real soon. So subscribe and you won't miss any. Okay, thanks, bye.